We're going to start this week out like an infomercial. Do you all have batting pieces sitting in your
crying out loud? She didn't tell me she was going to do that.
Because I just thought of it. Do you have batting pieces in your sewing room that are just getting in the way of adding more fabric to it? Here, today we're gonna talk to you about how you can use up those batting pieces.
Now, Marty, do you want to address that tape stuff?
Yeah, so I'm going to, yes.
Okay.
We're going to talk about that. So basically I know there's loads of types of battings out there, but what we're going to discuss today are poly bats, so the little bit puffier ones, cotton bat, which are going to be a little bit thinner, denser, and then fleece, which is a thin poly that we love using with table runners, that kind of a stuff, small wall hangings. The best way to piece them in our estimation, we always caveat that, in our estimation, is just to sit down and sew them together. But there are rules to this little game. So I know that there's products out there, the tape that you can iron onto both sides of it. We never found that it was necessary.
Well, plus you have
we
to
know
be very
y'all
careful.
have a sewing machine,
Right. Plus you have to be careful if you get your iron too hot around the
I think it's
polyester
like
bat.
and plus, isn't it?
I don't know.
synthetic,
We're not a fan, but some people love it.
No, it's a synthetic tape. So
Yeah.
like right there, you have to worry about the heat, the temperature of your iron. So anyways, very quick. I mean, this isn't going to take long at all. First thing you want to do, because of course, if all of us have these pieces, none of them are going to have a straight edge to them. So that's always the very first rule, is you've got to get straight edges, because if you have crooked edges or they're bent, then your batting is not going to lay flat, and which is going to make your life miserable in the end. So that's what I've done with this. We're going to start off with the cotton.
It's the same principle for the cotton and the fleece.
Well, it's across the board.
Right, but specifically for the cotton and the fleece.
Right. You have to make sure that you start off with straight edges. So you're going to want to fold it like you do your fabric, and cut it like you do your fabric. So then what we're going to do is you have to have a walking foot for your machine. And now you want to seam these with a light colored thread. You don't want to use dark colored, because if you hit, let's say for instance, even if you did this with a dark gray, stitching this with a dark gray, if you have a light colored backing or a light colored top to your quilt, it could very well show through. So you really want to avoid that. So match your batting. So either they're all white or an off-white, something like that, something really pretty close. And then if you want to come around here, Teresa Marie.
Should we have done this in a dark color just to show them so that
they should be able to see it. So.
All right, I think I'm going to go on this side.
Okay. So I've got my walking foot on the machine, and all you've got to do is take your stitch width, crank it out as wide as you can get it.
This is so weird. It's like a psychedelic thing.
It is kind of weird, but it does turn out okay. And then the other thing is your stitch length. You, again, want to take that as long as you want. So what we're going to do is this really wide, really long zigzag. And then all we're going to do is we're going to butt seams.
Yes, they go edge to edge, not like a regular seam.
Yes, and make sure you've got the correct edges, because if you sew it back together the way you just cut it, you're going to be angry. So I'm just going to butt these together.
Pull it back. There you go. Butt it together.
Butt them together. And
now you also don't be shocked, because you've got this such long. It's going to go really fast.
It goes fast.
And it could take your finger off if you're not.
So I'm not overlapping my edges. I am just butting them up against each other, so that makes so that there's not a ridge.
I mean, that's pretty common sense.
It is pretty common sense, but you don't want to do a seam here, I guess, is my whole thing.
You don't want any bulk.
No. So we're just going to run this on through.
There you go.
And ta-da. So now you have, and again, nice flat, ready to be used, bigger piece of batting. Very simple, very easy.
And you've gotten it out of your cupboards.
Yeah, you've gotten it out of your cupboards. So that's how we do thin, dense battings. Excuse me. Now, this is where the fun comes in, because if you've ever pieced poly batting,
you should just show them
it's miserable.
Show them what happens to start with, and
this is what happens when you piece poly batting, because it's so fibrous. Oh, there's just no explaining. I've gotten to the point until now that I hand piece them. I hand base them together, because it's just so miserable. Because when you sew them with your sewing machine, again, we're going to do the same thing. I straighten my edges, and now I'm going to come in here and do the same concept. Let me guess, it's not going to do it. Usually what happens, and again, I think it depends on which way the weft is going. Excuse me. Oh, it's kind of starting. You see what happens is the tips of your walking foot get buried into the thing, and all of a sudden it starts hanging up on it.
Right.
And it's miserable, and you start saying bad words. So, being a little Pinterest junkie that I am, I came across this the other night. This is the most wonderful tool on the face of the earth now.
And for those of you who want to yell at me, yes, I do use plastic straws.
It's a Bendi-Straw. And what you're going to want to do is we're going to cut, I'm not going to cut this one because I already have one. You want to cut it, and I usually, and it'd be generous. So like maybe 1.5 inches on both sides of the bendy part. You don't want the rest of it, you want the bendy part of it. So you're going to cut it here and like here. And then what you end up with is a piece that looks like this. I got tickle.
Do you need a drink?
No, I'm good. So then what you're going to do, because the whole thing is, the problem is that it's riding up over top of the little prongers. So what they had you do is you put the straw over the little prongers, and it is no longer an issue. I might have to.
Isn't that slick? So all those hours on Pinterest, and already finally got
Finally, I get something good out of it.
No, you've got
Except
good
for
stuff on
recipes.
it. Yeah.
So that's basically how you're going to piece batting. Keep talking about your
Okay. And the thing is every once in a while, if you go too fast, your little straw thing might pop off. You just stick it back on. But is that not a slick way to utilize something we all have in our kitchen cupboards? So that was a very, very good trick.
And again, it's very nice and flat now. So it's completely usable batting. You don't have to stick it out in the trash or anything. It works.
Right. Yep.
It works. So that was our batting piecing for the day. Now we're going to move on.
Yes, for the little straw.
Yeah,
Did you get a drink?
I did.
Okay.
I'm good now.
Yeah, right. Okay. Now we're going to walk over here.
Get my finger out of the way.
Am I on this side?
You can be. I'll come around you.
I prefer the other side if you don't mind.
Okay, we're gonna make these people sick.
Okay, another thing that today is mostly about instructional. We really don't have a project. But anyways, have you ever had that situation where you have your fabric?
Are you mocking me?
Have your fabric and it is all yucky and bunched up and it
just makes you say bad words.
And it just, yeah, Marty's on to bad words today. Anyways, if you have never used Best Press.
Thank you, Vanna.
Oh, we are in sad shape today. Lordy. I didn't think we were going to do this today. So anyways, Best Press. It is the most wonderful thing on the market. We love it, love it, love it. What this is, and we've talked about it before, but we're just going to go into a little bit more in depth today. It's a starch substitute. And what do they say? The big thing about it is there's no flaking, no residue, no spotting, relaxes, it's acid-free.
But it's plant-based.
But it's plant-based, and it doesn't attract bugs.
Yes, that was the big thing when it first came out.
A whole lot of us have bugs in our fabric stash, but just in case you do, now you know what to do. So anyways, we have it, and this is the size that we like. We used to get it in a spray bottle, and first of all, shipping was a nightmare because there was. Anyways, but we have since found that this is the best way to get it. Now, we are carrying it in 3 different scents, all right? If you're a scent-free person, no stink, all right? That's the scent-free.
No, don't say stink, because it's a very light, delicate scent.
And it is. They do really do a nice job. The linen and the lavender are probably our next best sellers, so those are the 3 that we have. So we will have scent-free, linen, fresh, and lavender fields, okay? Mm-hmm. Now.
Love the lavender.
I just ate a handful of pretzels before we did this, and I can't even talk.
You're coughing, I can't, I'm coughing, you can't talk.
Right. The thing with this is you can use a regular spray bottle, which is what they originally came in, but we have found is if you have a mister, and we're going to do a little treat for you at the end, but let me just talk about this for a minute. The less you put on, the less you have to dry and iron off. Or iron into the fabric. So back in the day when we didn't have the misters, we just had the spritz, and you spritzed it and you ironed it, and it was fine. But we've gone to 2.0 or 2.1 now. Is that what it is? That's the computer thing. So this is a mister. Now the ones that we've got that'll be here Monday afternoon are going to say Gypsy Quilter on it. But what happens is instead of doing splot, 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 it does a fine mist over top of it. I gotta get this iron over here. And it takes you less time, and you use less starch, so you use less product, which is yippee.
Which is saving you money, yes.
Saving you money, exactly. Time and money. It's what we all need more of. So the big thing about this is, we're going to do one layer at a time because it just will show you better. A lot of people ask us, do we wash our fabrics, pre-wash our fabrics? No, we don't. But usually we pre-iron everything. Only because that if it needs to be shrunk, it'll shrink it, which fabrics, different story than it was 20 years ago. So what I'm going to, should I do, let's see if I do just regular ironing. And it's not bad.
Yeah, but those stubborn ones don't come out. You can see there's a wrinkle there, there's wrinkles down there. Ugh,
so what we're going to do is we're going to take this and we're going to mist it. Now you don't sit here and pump, 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 because you push it and it mists.
I mean, the misters hold only probably, like what, 3/4 of a cup of a...
Oh, no, I think it's a little bit more than that, isn't there?
Do you? I don't know, but it just lasts for freaking ever.
So then we're just going to iron this.
And yes, we are like steam. Yes, we do like steam.
But it will take those wrinkles right on
And sometimes
out.
if they're a little bit more stubborn, you may have to go over it again. I will freely admit that.
Yeah,
but,
give it another little spritz.
Yep, and sometimes I'll flip it over and again do it from the other side because it's just...
But look at the difference between this and what we started out with. Now, and I know we've talked about irons and about the validity of buying a really expensive iron. We don't purport. I'm liking to use big words today. We aren't really into really expensive irons anymore. We buy a Black & Decker.
We used to be.
Yeah, we used to be, but now we just buy a Black & Decker or something like that. And when it dies, it dies. So look at that.
Nice.
Isn't that so much nicer? So what we've decided to do on this, because we really feel strongly about this, is we're going to do you a deal.
Let's make a deal.
We've been hanging around too long.
Can't believe we did that at the same time.
What we're going to do is we're going to do a combination, a combo pack. So, and again, it's not going to look like this. It's going to look a little different. But what we're doing is a combo pack. You can pick whichever scent you want. So there's the 3 scents. And then we will throw in one of these, and you can get the 2 for $22 plus sales tax if it's applicable. And that will include the shipping to, no, shipping.
Normal shipping.
Normal shipping. Yeah, if your whole order is under $75, it's $5 shipping. Right. If it's over $75, it's free shipping. So that's what we would like to do for you, because we really, really feel the importance of, what do I always say? Marilyn Doheny. Perfect piecing is a pressing matter.
Nobody of these people know who Marilyn Doheny is.
Marilyn Doheny, that was the first quilting class official, big teacher that I ever took, and that I'll never ever forget that. And that, good Lord,
wasn't she one of the ones that started designing omni-grid rulers?
Rulers, yeah.
That just showed you how old we are.
We are very, very old. So I think that's all we had for you today. We put another 25 fabrics on. Is there anything else, Marty?
No.
Okay, then this will be a short one.
Breast press and a mister, $22.
$22. Okay, and everything will be on there for that. And don't forget to find a Bendi-Straw. Okay?
And get your batting pieces out and start using them up. You don't know how much room they take up in a sewing room.
That's exactly right. Okay, talk to you next week. Bye.